You lot, for 10 minutes. I really don't need this. 10 whole minutes. I'm glad they didn't give me the 18-minute slot or the 45-minute slot. Well, what do you want me to talk about for 10 whole minutes? Now, naturally, as motivational speakers and members of the PSA, you don't suffer from negativity or poor body language, but you don't have to go far to find it. The next time you're in a corporate organisation in the morning, just sit in the reception area and see what the receptionists and security guards have to suffer. Good morning, how are you? Is it? Good morning, how are you? Might be a different day, but it's the same old crap, believe me. Good morning, how are you? Still living the dream? You must have some very weird dreams. Now, these people filing in, they're not exactly demonstrating professional responsibility, are they? Let me give you another example. Has anybody been to a theatre in London recently? Yeah? And it's a rather expensive activity. And that's just the train journey up to London. You get to London, you decide it's a special occasion, let's go out for dinner. And you go out for dinner until you get the bill at the end and you think, my goodness, this is expensive. But then you're reminded, look, this is a brilliant theatre production, it's a special event, just pay up and enjoy it. So you do. You go into a theatre, you order perhaps a couple of beers, small bottle of Prosecco, a gin and tonic. How much? I know, just got to accept it. It's going to be a brilliant production, just crack on. Then on your way into the theatre, you decide to invest in the most expensive bag of Maltesers you've ever bought. Not to mention a tub of Beach Dean ice cream. Other brands are available. Just pay up and go in. So you do. You sit there in the theatre, the energy, the excitement, the anticipation as the curtain goes up. The cast come on, they're singing, they're dancing, you smile at each other and you go, this is going to be wonderful. Then suddenly, all of a sudden, the cast stop and they look at the audience and say, do you know how many times we've sung this bloody song? I'm fed up with this. You'd say, well, that's not very professional. That's not demonstrating professional responsibility. I've paid a lot of money for this. Now, this is a story, and the questions I then ask a lot of people in organisations is, well, are you value for money? Are you, every day of your working environment, delivering to the best of your abilities, like you would expect the actors and the actresses in the cast of a theatre production that you've spent a lot of money on? Would you want to employ you? Would you want to work with you? Would we be better off investing on you or that new coffee machine that everyone keeps moaning about? Not to mention the laptops that the sales team need. Now, professional responsibility obviously isn't just about body language, but it's a good start. And yeah, it's a key factor for future-proofing yourself. Future-proofing yourself is helping people to stay relevant and of value for the rest of their working careers, because who knows when we may be able to retire. So how did I get into this? Well, it was back when I was actually 16. I was walking home from school one summer's afternoon, about 4:20, and I walked down my road and I noticed my dad's car was parked in the driveway. And I thought, that's a bit strange, he normally doesn't get home until about 6:30. I walked into the house and I saw my dad in the lounge, sat in his chair with his head in his hands, and he was crying. I'd never seen my dad cry before. Dads don't cry. And I said, what's the matter? And he replied, they don't need me anymore. What do you mean they don't need you anymore? You're my dad. And he says, no, I've been made redundant. And it had a huge impact on me. A few months after that, he would then explain, well, he never saw it coming. He was a very clever scientist in the production of precious metals and the manufacturing of precious metals. But production methods had changed and he just specialised in one particular area. And he got made redundant. He didn't have transferable skills and he never saw it coming, so he didn't sort of realise what was happening. During that time, I left school with 1 O-level and went off to work for a life assurance company. And I was responsible for writing financial planning reports for people to make provision for inheritance tax and capital gains tax. And let's say it was boring. And this was really brought to home by my manager, who sat me down at my appraisal. David, we like having you in the office. You're good fun to have around. Let's say your work there is satisfactory. but you must be the biggest pain up the arse I've ever had to manage. Please let me find you another job. I just wasn't suited for it. It's the best feedback that I ever got. Naturally, I wouldn't encourage managers in today's day and age to use that type of feedback, because industrial tribunal, here we come. So I went through lots of jobs, trying to work out what I did want to do, what I didn't want to do. Eventually got into sales management, and then finally got into training. And I went to work for a firm of lawyers, which was, let's say, challenging as their training manager. Who do you think you are? What are your qualifications? What gives you the right to be lecturing us? And to say the first 3 months were a bit of a challenge is an understatement. So my HR director sat me down in the boardroom. She sat that side, I sat this side. Coat, bag, car keys. I could see what was going to happen. Coat was going on, the bag was going over the shoulder, and the car keys were going off the table, and it was bye-bye, David. But she surprised me and said, David, why did you join our organisation? And I didn't really want to answer this, but she was master of the silence. So I told her, I've joined to set up the leadership and the management programmes, the personal effectiveness programmes, the sales for the sales team, and believe it or not, customer service skills for the lawyers. And all I got from them is, who do you think we are? Bloody Tesco's, it's their privilege to be dealing with us, you idiot. And they called me that a lot. But I told her I want to set that up. I want to work here for 2 years, then I want to go and set up my own training, coaching and speaking business. And true to form, in 2 years' time, I was able to do that because she is still my mentor. We're actually meeting in 2 weeks' time. And that's over 22 years ago. And she quite often still employs me, which is quite nice. So it was out into the world, like most of us, in setting up our own businesses, where you've really got to focus on this future-proofing. Now, I'm very lucky, like most of us, I work with lots of great clients, and I always think about it as free learning. Learning from directors, senior partners, entrepreneurs, mavericks, and people at all levels of the business. How do they see their future? How do they see the market now? How do they see the market in the future? I just need to be this sponge and lap it all up. Keep challenging myself, learn new skills, keep developing. But my market's changing immensely. Training, a lot of companies are saying, we're not going to invest so much in learning and development anymore. It's really up to you as individuals to sort yourselves out. We pay you enough. Training and learning is your responsibility. You need to take professional responsibility for that. Hence the book, hence the YouTube channel, and developing an online offering for people next year that they can access and future-proof themselves with. So it's not really aimed at companies, it's more aimed at individuals. So future-proofing is having a big impact on me. So where do I go to sort of end this talk? Well, the first thing I'd like to do is thank you for the 10 minutes. You've been very nice and demonstrated some wonderful professional responsibility with your positive body language. So thank you for that. But consciously or unconsciously, we're all future-proofing ourselves by being here, learning from each other, networking, looking at new ideas. But where's our market going? We're all a limited company. We sell our time, our energy, our knowledge, our experiences, bundles of wisdom and loads of enthusiasm. And in return, we get paid a fee. For those still working in corporate organisations, you get a salary and benefits. But are we a real good return on that investment? We may be very good now, but is that what our companies and our clients are going to want in the future? We may be brilliant now, but how are we going to stay brilliant? What are the changes? How are we future-proofing and developing ourselves? So one of my key things is to continue to develop myself. I've now decided, right, I've got to get involved in the PSA. I've been dabbling in it in the last couple of years. I've done Speaker Factor and I did the stand-up this year, which really took me outside my comfort zone. But I've got to keep challenging myself. And I would encourage everybody else to think about the same. And hopefully I'll get invited back once I've upgraded, which I'm looking to do very shortly from associate member. And I may get invited back for an 18-minute or 45-minute slot if I'm good and well behaved. So professional responsibility is obviously vital. Future-proofing ourselves is even more vital. I've just chosen body language as one simple topic, because if we don't look after ourselves, who's going to do it for us? Thank you for your time and enjoy your journey.